This has to catch up to him, I guess.
Well, I think we've got to remember that they built in Manitoba. They built in a little room. They can afford to make a few mistakes. Not many. They can afford to make a few.
Manitoba leading at 47-31. Victoria turns the ball over again. Ken Shields isn't even getting up out of his seat anymore. He looks like if he stands up, he's liable to keep walking right out onto the floor.
Well, he's been very sick the last few weeks, but this is certainly not anything that's going to help him recover. Let me tell you that.
Vic finally with a rebound. He got up that time.
Halftime guess.
Well, you know
what he's got to do.
What you saw right there is a perfect example of what's happened in this game. Victoria got the bucket, granted, but did you see how many players were underneath the basket in yellow? I mean, these guys want the ball.
Lloyd was the only one under. Look at that guy.
House moves it up court for the Bison. Ball goes out of bounds. It will go over to, stay with Victoria rather. 47-33. The Vikings are chipping away. They now trail by 14. 16-12 remaining to play in the second half. We'll be back to the Halifax Metro Center in just a moment.
Out of the darkness, there's a light. Let it shine on through.
Till tomorrow brings the dawn in this magic view.
There will never be another night that seems so right. And blue smiles along.
Taste keeps coming through.
Blue smiles along.
Taste keeps coming
yes,
through.
blue smiles along with you.
There will be no cover charge for anyone attending any Final
All right,
Four
the
games.
score 47-33. Manitoba over Victoria. We're looking into the Victoria huddle right now.
Defensive boards down here. No second shots. Bill, you can't help out so much. Lloyd, try not to get beat on the dribble because Kaufman's going to drain the jumper if you're helping out.
Well, Jack, there you heard it. He's telling them what to do. I think that of all the people on the Victoria bench, Ken Shields knows what has to be done. It's just a matter of whether he can translate it for his players.
Coach, and he's translated. They know also. It's a matter of whether or not they can turn it around. You know, and they're not going to turn it around until we get Uggams controlled underneath the basket and Victoria coming in with a couple of baskets. Let's see what they get going here. But they've got to control Uggams. They've got to somehow or another neutralize Tony House.
Well, they've chipped away a bit. Clemens underneath. The bucket is good, and he'll go to the line.
What they've been looking for now, you know, a few of those not only changes the game by the points, it's going to change the tempo of the game. Here's that pass again. Boy, they're not afraid to throw it. And here it is. He's up, grabs it, and Court Clemens comes up with a little jumper. Now, he hadn't played much in the first half, even when he was on the court, but he's doing a good job right now. And he's not going to get any smaller. And, of course, Kenny Shields is hoping those quick guys from Manitoba are going to get tired.
Well, this is something that happened earlier in the year when we saw this team. They were trailing at that time early in the game, too, against a team not exactly the same style as Manitoba, but a smaller team, and it eventually did wear them down. They've cut the lead down to 12 points now. That's an 8-point jump in the first 4.5 minutes of this half. In this second half, Vic is 5 for 5 from the floor, 2 for 3 from the foul line, and that's the difference.
Complete turnaround with Terry Garrow's back in, and he's got John Heineman out. And the Viking is getting involved in there. He's right underneath the basket on the out of bounds.
The Viking may take one step too close to the floor.
Nobody's going to stop him, I'll tell you that.
Hope that thing's not real that he's carrying. Scrub with the jumper. Kaufman with the rebound. It's a familiar refrain tonight. Ball goes over to Victoria. They're starting to get a few breaks now.
Very sloppy in there. And Manitoba can't afford to be sloppy. They can make a few mistakes, making them too big. They're back in the ball. 14 minutes, 12 points is not a real problem. Boy, there's a lot of banging there, I'll tell you. You got both coaches up and upset about it.
I'll tell you what, that was more a reaction jump than anything. I didn't think there was a foul on that play. I thought it was a free ball.
I tell you what,
somebody didn't agree
I
with me.
hope you're the guy that gets jumped in the alley with all that kind of stuff. Both coaches are complaining about it.
See what I mean? There was no foul.
That's right. No, I tell you what, you're right again. Foul is when the whistle blows, not what happens after.
That's right.
Again, Victoria's had that ball now for about 5 different possessions. There's another one they're going to get it back. And the idea is that Manitoba can't allow. Manitoba wants to get the ball back and do something themselves, and they're going to cool off if this continues. You know me, I'm always rooting for the guys that are behind. Anyway, Steve, but
it's still a 12-point lead. It's by no means fait accompli, and now it's 10. Terry Garrow back in the game. Good try by Steele on the steal, but he was caught.
These are not a problem. Here's the play down here. Let's see Randy Steele. Well, he comes in from behind. Very dangerous thing to do. You get called. You foul 8 out of 10 times, and you get a call the other 2 anyway.
That's not very good percentages.
Now that's a shot. See that Manitoba was making the first half.
Cord Clemens had 5 points in all the first half. In the first 5 minutes of this half, he's got 8. So that gives him 13 for the game. Make it 10. Well, we said he'd be the key, and he's obviously exactly that. They've whittled this lead down to 8 points. Clemens has 10 in the half. And I'll tell you something. Victoria is making this into a game again.
They've done what we said earlier. They've neutralized House a little bit. The game isn't as wide open as it was earlier, and that's the advantage of Victoria.
They're also getting the rebounds now. They're controlling the glass.
Talk about an 8-point game with 13 and a half minutes. It's plenty of time.
They're keeping Manitoba out of the lane for the most part. A foul called that time. We'll see who it goes against.
House is going to go to the line.
It was called against Newman.
House is not a great foul shooter. He hasn't shot as many of them probably as he would like to. Here he comes. Oh, he gets bumped once. He's lucky he's still got his uniform on. He gets bumped in there. But let's see him now. He's a 50% foul shooter, 48% actually. See now, he should. Percentages tell us he should make this one. But that's not going to be enough. They've got to make those fouls hurt. And that's worse.
And a little difference that time. Uggum's in for the rebound. It went over his head right to Struck. The first half, that would have dropped right in his lap for the bucket. Oh, in the middle to Clemens. Oh, he puts it up, and that time he did not drop it. He's up again. This time it goes in. He gets his own rebound.
6 points and the ball.
He's done more in 5 minutes than he did in the whole first half.
They've got the ball. We've got a 6-point game.
47-41 now.
Right
Manitoba lead has been cut to 6.
The route has now become a basketball game.
Underneath the taken away by Uggum.
Cord Clemens tried to throw that ball into, no need for it. I mean, he's doing a good job. And we know we got to get a timeout, Manitoba.
Well, listen, the score at halftime was 41-23 for Manitoba. It's now 47-41 for the Bisons. They've had a 20-point lead whittled down to 6. We'll be back to the Halifax Metro Center in a moment. This is the CIAU on TSN.
Hey, this isn't the first time we've been in a close game. We've been them all year. We got to show character right now. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go now.
Well, here, it's what he's got to do. He's got to get back in the basketball game. Told him the key thing now is to score. For Victoria to have 41 points is not the problem. It's for Manitoba to only have 47. They've got to get back in and start scoring.
Well, they've been outscored 18-6 in this half, the Bisons have. There, Cord Clemens is up in the air again.
mean, 6 points in the ball right now, and if they go to Clemens, it's what they're supposed to be doing. Let's see how it goes.
Shooting by Manitoba in this half, they're only 25% from the floor as opposed to 64 through the first half. Vic, on the other hand, is 73% from the floor in this half. They were only 40 at halftime. 18-6, Vic has outscored them. They're back in this game. It's 47-41. Manitoba with the rebound, Terry Garrow.
That could be a big play. Garrow did a good job of boxing out Phil Ole. Ole is perpetual motion, but he didn't have a shot at getting that rebound.
Another stat in that second half, Manitoba has had 6 turnovers, Vic only 2. Ball went off Phil Ole's foot, I believe, so Bisons will bring it inbounds from the far side.
Half of the Vic bench you can see up there standing up, giving them the encouragement, telling them to work harder on defense.
Garrow.
Manitoba a little bit hesitant. All right.
To Hyman. Shot comes up short. Newman with the rebound.
Newman doing a good job in there. He's in there to get the ball, take a little bit of a jumper from the wings, but also to get them the ball. He's a big man.
Garrow with the rebound for Manitoba that time.
Quick hands.
Vikings can't get it down under 6. It's still 47-41. That makes it 49-41. Hyman with the ball.
They were getting hesitant. They were beginning to wonder about whether or not they really were this much in front and this much better than them. But let's see how it goes now. This is big plays coming up right now. We've got that 8 points again.
Back down to 6.
Jamie Newman comes in here, does a good job for them.
49-43. Garrow brings it out for the Bisons. Quickly up floor to Uggams. Inside to Hyman, and steal on the defense, and not much doubt about that one.
Well, he got him from behind again, and he's got to be ready for that. But that's not that bad. They still got control. See the pass? Pass goes back out, takes it into the middle, drops it down. Here comes Hyman, up and... Well, it depends on who they call that foul on, because I'll tell you, if they called it on your friend over there, Randy Steele,
which they did,
tough play, because he can't get a good shot
ball,
at the ball. But
while we're at the line, I'm going to bring something up for our TSN viewers. A reminder that Grapefruit League baseball coverage on TSN starts Monday, March the 18th. The St. Louis Cardinals against the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's the beginning of a long, excellent, very, very, well, I guess we're considering an exciting season of baseball coming up on TSN. We hope you enjoy it as much as you're enjoying this game tonight in this basketball doubleheader. We're in the second game of the CIAU Semi-Finals. Waterloo won the first one, 87-79 over St. Francis Xavier. In this one, Manitoba is leading Victoria 50-43. We've got just over 10 minutes remaining in the second half. It's a 7-point lead. It was 18 at halftime and as high as 20.
Well, it's just about 10 minutes to go when they've cut it. They've cut it in half. This is a big play here. But they've cut it in half. That's all they have to do. They got it down to 7 points, and they've got 10 more minutes to play basketball. It's anybody's game. We were scared that it was going to be a blowout. But Victoria came back. More credit to them.
Bad play that time. Steele tried to force the pass into Clemens. There was no room for it. You can do that when you got a whole bunch of guys Clemens size defending against you, but when everybody's as low to the floor as House and Garrow and Kaufman.
Got to walk. Huggins doesn't believe it.
Neither does Suffield, and neither...
Oh, God, they're down. All that whole coaching team is down, and Rick Suffield's got Laurie May and Tony Scott over there with them. Let's get a good look at it, see if we got a good play. Here it comes again. Kaufman takes that ball, pops it up, it gets blocked away. Here comes Uggams. Let's see how that foot goes now. This is the key. All right, we really had to get back to the action here, because this is what we've got. Here we are. There's the play.
Underneath, it goes to Steele. He's trying to get it up. Boy, I'll tell you what.
Oh, I'll tell you, a couple of bodies in there.
Newman with the bucket. 50-45. It's down to 5 points. Kaufman inside for the layup. Can't get it to drop. Clemens with the rebound. That could be the most times that Cord Clemens has dribbled the ball this season.
I'll tell you, but that's what they've got to do. UVIC, they've got to hustle their way